stop trying to hustle and hassle all the time. It is exhausting. So find what first of all, find a business that works for you. Again, because don't think you've got to do things in a certain way because everybody else is. You don't. And I think that goes for nutrition, exercise, business, the way you plan your business, the way you run the day, how much sleep you have, whatever. I think the first thing is you've got to find what works for you.
Hello and welcome to Sweet Liberation. And we're so excited today,
Yes.
aren't we? Because we are joined by one of our favorite people online, Karen Burge, who is a business coach and marketing strategist, who is joining us today on Sweet Liberation.
Yes.
And we're going to discuss all things business, all things lifestyle, and find out a bit of Karen's amazing success that she's had over the last few months and the insights that she has in business that she's going to give us today. So happy to have you here, Karen. Welcome to Sweet Liberation.
Thank you so much. I think this is going to be quite exciting.
Exciting, sure. So Karen, obviously we are super keen fans of yours, of the work that you do online, of the business and strategies that you've implemented in some of your online ventures. So tell us a little bit about your background in business and kind of what sort of brought you into the digital space, if you like, and how that's going for you.
Okay, well, I have done a lot. I have done a lot because I've moved around the world a lot. And
Ah,
every time I've moved, I've gone, okay, what am I going to do this time? So actually, I've had quite a lot of different businesses over the years, online, offline, all sorts. I mean, I say to people, I was selling food over the internet before the supermarkets even thought about it.
she's a fellow hustler.
Yes.
I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah, back in the 90s, believe it or not. So how did I get to where I am though? So I did all these businesses, and then it was about 8, 9 years ago, I thought, right, I need to find something that sort of feeds my soul a bit more here. And I decided to go into coaching, because people were really starting to talk about coaching then. And at that time, I became a life coach. So I did all the NLP training, did all that, and started doing that. But what I found was, of course, because I'd been a business person, when I was talking to people about business, that's when I lit up. So I thought, this is ridiculous, I want to talk about business. So that sort of evolved, and so I went and got sales and marketing training, got certified as a business coach, and that's what I've been doing. And then within the business arena, what I really love is marketing, which is interesting because my very first job, when I set off to London, was actually in a marketing and PR agency. So I sort of come full circle.
Wow.
Yeah. And so marketing is absolutely what I love. And I just say, and people go, oh, marketing. And I go, do you know what? Marketing is just the getting and keeping of clients. Simple as that. And if you have got clients, you haven't got a business. So get to love it.
Yes, yes. You know what? It feels really good that we're talking about marketing, because we feel the same way. We feel the same way, and kind of, when you sort of are attracted to people that are in the same space and you are watching their journey and watching their offerings and watching their communication and their messaging. We are avid students of all the people that are out there that are doing fantastically in marketing. So is there a particular area of marketing that really kind of has lit you up over the last few years, particularly?
Well, I think what I love focusing, well, yes, I mean, because I think, marketing has sort of the three stages, but what I love really helping people with is that whole sort of how you're going to position yourself, how you're going to brand yourself, what is your message?
Yes.
And particularly the message, I think, is the big one. Yeah. Because I think if people can't really articulate what it is that they do in a way that's succinct and grabs the attention of the people they want to get in front of, that's your first starting block. And if you haven't got that, you're going to be floundering forever, I think.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
yes, it's getting that, as you say, it's getting the message across so that people understand it, because it's the same thing that, Nabila and I have a lot of conversations about sales and marketing and the distinct difference between the two things, and kicking off with the marketing.
Yeah.
And it's that message.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things I sort of been just studying over the last few months is the marketing actually arena feels quite comfortable when you are a woman in some ways, because it's really about the power of attraction. And I think, if you don't mind me saying so, I think us girls find that quite instinctive. We sort of, it's about that whole ability to kind of stop people in their tracks and then be able to tell them the story. So you know, I sort of akin it a little bit to getting ready for a night out. You know, there's the you in the daytime, you know, when your hair's not done and you're dropping the kids off to school, and then there's the you in the evening where, you know, you might look quite different, and you can stop somebody in their tracks, you know, when you have done that. And women are able to switch that on and off. So have you found that yourself in your marketing efforts, that you found it quite a natural, instinctive thing?
Well, actually, I find a lot of, and maybe women particularly, are very hesitant about shouting out how amazing either they are or their businesses. And they get the two sort of muddled. It's like, oh, I can't go out there and say, you know, I'm the best at this. And I'm going, well, you're going to have to, because and forget about, in that case, forget that you're saying you're the best. You are promoting your company. Because I do think a lot of women actually are not that confident, and they don't want to go out there and say, oh, I've got this thing, buy this. You know, it's hard for them. So I think that is, you know, you can't really say that everybody is like ready to go, yeah, I'm going to go out and attract everybody. Because actually for some people it's quite difficult.
Yes, yeah, that's true, and sort of knowing who your perfect sort of avatar is as well. So you've got background also in, did you say you were selling food on the internet? Was that right? Tell us about that.
I did. Oh, it's a long time ago. I'm a real foodie anyway. I mean, I will eat anything, almost anything. As long as it's not got chili on it, I'll eat it. And I got very interested at that time with those really small scale specialist producers, the ones that were doing like amazing artisanal food. I was living in London at the time, and if anybody knows London, they'll know Borough Market. Well, at that time, back in, say, the 90s, it was quite a small affair. But that's when I used to go down and chat to the producers and get to know them. And I actually started up this business. I thought, I just want to get the word out there. So, you know, I started like a newsletter, and then I started getting these products and I would put them together, and I built a website, probably one of the first websites. And my business is called Passion Food. And then I was putting them together in boxes. And I've always believed, and I think even still to this day, you've got to find something that makes you stand out. So when I say I was putting together hampers, and, you know, heaven help me, people still send out baskets, you know, everyone loves the Fortnum and Mason's basket, but, you know, it hasn't changed for decades. My hampers were boxes that were deep purple, glossy, and they were tied up with a great big red ribbon.
Beautiful.
You know, totally different. And so, as I say, I still believe in this today, got to do something different. But yeah, so that feels a long time ago, but it was fun. It was a fun time because I became a taste award judge. So I got to taste various things. I was on the television with the chef Gary Rhodes at the time. This is really aging me, actually.
We are the same age group. We are.
Yeah, it was a good time. But then I had to sort of give it up because then I moved to France. So that was the end of that for that time.
My goodness, tell us about that. Where were you in France?
Southwest.
Oh, wow.
So in between Toulouse and Albi.
Oh, beautiful. We were saying we absolutely adore French cuisine.
Well, actually, I have to say, and I'm sorry if there are any French people listening to this, but ours is just so much better now.
You do think that? Amazing.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think because and again, I don't I don't want to be sort of offensive, but I did find, especially down the southwest, it's very rural, and it's quite insular, you know. And yes, they do have amazing food down there, but it's like it has to be their food. Whereas I think in Britain, we just open the gates to everybody, don't we? I mean, you can get anything in this country. And I did realize that when I came back. because most of the restaurants down there, they did the same thing. You could almost guarantee what would be on the menu.
Right.
And what we did find, because, we were searching out and going to, all different places, there were 3 really good places in the whole of the area in the Tarn that were doing like more adventurous cooking, really great cooking, and they all had British chefs.
Oh,
interesting.
wow, interesting.
Wow.
So the British have kind of, I started my career in a 2 Michelin star restaurant when I was in my teens. So I developed quite a distinct palate, quite a sophisticated palate for a teenager, really.
Yeah.
Which has helped us tremendously in this business.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. So all of the British chefs at that point, this was in the early 90s, were then training with the French chefs and had all gone. Then they all came back and they're all starting that whole movement of getting the Michelin star awards.
Yeah.
And the kind of gastronomic delights that started in the night, I would say. So at about the same time. And I would say the same about Italy and France, that their palate compared to the British, I think, it's less maybe multicultural in that respect, less diverse.
Yes. And you can't equate, I mean, France is a big country, and a lot of it is, as I say, extremely rural. So you can't talk about France and Paris in the same breath either. It's not fair.
Exactly. It's a bit like, well, London is such a, I don't think it's such a, a multicultural capital as well, and same, it could be said in some ways for Britain, but I think the British palate has become very adventurous with their eating. Yes. For sure. Brilliant.
But going back to the marketing side and the unboxing thing, we were actually working on that ourselves this week, because what you were describing there with your, with that unboxing and the ribbon and everything, it's all about that experience. And that's the bit in marketing that I like. I mean, I've been in sales and I've actually worked with a lot of the West Coast USA software companies, but solely selling solutions around software. So, and then to, when we were talking about our business and you were talking about the marketing, they're the things and the experiences. And it's that experience, isn't it, that I think is exciting around marketing, because you're developing that sort of, that, like I say, the unboxing and the opening experience for the customer.
Yeah.
And that's the bit that's interesting. But of course, sales is quite different and succinct from that, because you're then saying, well, this is the thing that you just unboxed. Now, what do we do? How do you get that? That's the bit I am good at doing. But yeah.
And you, well, my ADHD brain can't deal with that. It connects the 2 things. I can't even have the distinct. Going, well, that process into that process into that process. The fast thinking, I can't really distinguish the 2 things. You distinguish.
Separate them off totally separately. Yeah. Because I see marketing, I don't know if you agree, Karen, with, as demand creation. And the presentation, and you could have this. It's that part of it that I think is, I don't know if you agree, that's the sort of part of the marketing side. And obviously the salespeople are very much into the closing side, and that's the, and when you're with your coaching and things, obviously you've done quite a lot of, a lot of that. And how does that sort of dovetail with the marketing? Is the life coaching and marketing side, do they come together?
Well, that's what I'm teaching, really, with my coaching. What I found with the business I'm doing now, the sort of model I'm doing now, is because I'll tell you the story how it came about. It was because in lockdown, when everybody had to go online, and of course, it didn't matter what you were doing, you suddenly realized you were surrounded by everybody. You thought you were the only one, but you weren't, were you? And of course, I was in the coaching world, and suddenly, I saw all these. I've seen them before, but there were so many coaches online, and I thought they're doing the same thing. They're saying the same thing. They're trying to attract the same audience, and it just got me a bit cross, really, because I also saw business coaches teaching the coaches to do the same thing, market the same thing, attract the same audience. And they were all being kept small. They were all saying, go and have your group programs, do your programs at 3K, 5K, whatever. And that year, I remember I'd been approached by a company that wanted to get into the high net worth market as well. Now, I've been fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with very high net worth people. And I thought, you know what, this is a market that is untapped, largely untapped. So I thought, right, okay, everybody's teaching the same thing. I'm going to do something different. So that's when I did this. It wasn't a pivot, it was just a slight change of direction and go, hey, everybody, I'm going to teach you how to get in front of high net worth clients, the high paying ones. So that's what I did. Yes, that's what I teach now, because the marketing is different. So as a marketer, I realized what the differences were as to what, and when I say high net worth people, I always say this, they're not on super yachts, okay? We're not talking about billionaires on super yachts. We're talking, it could be the headmaster of your kid's school. The people that are earning like 150K upwards. Could be a consultant. It could be, your neighbor, your cousin. So, but it's the people who say, you've got what I want, I'm willing to pay. Because I felt very strongly it was about time that those people, those coaches, therapists, service providers that had, I say there's three things: experience, expertise, and they know they get good results for their clients. And as long as they've got those three, then why aren't they going for that higher ticket market? So that was the sort of change that I made about 3 years ago now. So that's the marketing I teach now.
Yes.
As opposed to previously. And it is different. It is different.
It is different. And how are so I did some high ticket coaching training, which was about exactly what you just mentioned, which is do a group coaching program and, charge between, 3 to 5K, whatever, in a group setting, avoid doing one-to-ones. And does what you're teaching, what's the format that you're sort of advising people to deliver their programs?
Well, what I'm saying is, because I think everybody, and this probably goes for most businesses, they're always trying to get more clients. And with the people that I've been talking about, is more and more and more clients. And it's exhausting, isn't it? It is exhausting. They're always either, oh, the big launch, I'm going to launch my program this year or whatever. And I say, look, if you find, let's say in 1 year, a dozen clients who are paying you really well, then suddenly you've got fewer clients, you've got more time, you can breathe, everyone's got more energy, which I think is quite important, and you've got more income.
Like a dream. Dream come true.
And this is what I'm trying to get over to people. Stop trying to find more and more clients. Shift your business a bit. Elevate your marketing, your positioning, your branding, and everything. I will teach you how to get in front of those people and how to talk to them and how to sell. And then, if you had a dozen clients a year paying you 30K, 50K, 100K, wouldn't that be better? Wouldn't that work better for you?
Yes.
And service, when you're servicing fewer clients, and that's one of the things about the high ticket and talking about the high ticket. Is actually, if you make something too cheap but you get hundreds of customers, you can't service those nearly as well as having a high ticket program that has a much higher price tag, and you're actually putting some people off.
Yeah.
But in the pushing back sometimes with that type of thing can work really well.
Yeah.
Those numbers to some people would sound really, really scary, but you didn't even bat an eyelid, Karen.
You have to remember there are plenty of people out there, they're doing it. And if you take the example of, let's say, a handbag, right? You can go to a department store and you can spend £100 on a handbag. And there are plenty of people out there spending £1,000, £10,000 on a handbag. Yes. Whatever you put out there, depending on what market you're trying to attract, there are people out there who'll buy it. But you have to get in front of the right market.
Yes, yes.
I did see a handbag that actually was 50,000, and I didn't really realise that you could spend that much money. Yeah. I was quite surprised. I was thinking, oh wow, new car or new handbag. I didn't get the handbag.
Yeah, I'm not a handbag girl. I'm more of a real estate and jewelry girl. They're not expensive things at all. So, Karen, in terms of keeping yourself kind of well and your performance, is there anything have you made any tweaks to your lifestyle, diet or nutrition around and that you teach your clients to sort of be at your peak?
What do I say? What do I do?
It can be a no. It can be like, no, I'm eating all the donuts every day.
Well, tell us what you say.
Well, just like what I've said, in a sense, stop trying to hustle and hassle all the time. It is exhausting. So first of all, find a business that works for you. Again, because don't think you've got to do things in a certain way because everybody else is. You don't. And I think that goes for nutrition, exercise, business, the way you plan your business, the way you run the day, how much sleep you have, whatever. I think the first thing is you've got to find what works for you and not what people tell you to do. So I think that is the first step. So I would always encourage that, I think. And I think I've really picked on this the last year. We're the only ones responsible for our bodies.
That's right.
We therefore have to take responsibility.
Yeah.
Nobody else is going to do it for us. Nobody else is going to literally snatch the biscuit tin out of your hands and put it back on the shelf. Well, I think in most cases, nobody's going to sort of put your shoes on for you and say, get out there and run. Or, so yes, I think that's the other thing as well. And there's no point going around saying, oh, I'm so tired, I'm so exhausted, and then staying up till midnight or getting up too early or whatever. So
you're talking to me right now. I've been too many late nights just recently, but I actually went to bed before midnight last night, which was great. It was a treat. And do you have, of course, we're in sweet liberation. Do you have a sweet tooth, Karen? What is your little special treat of
Well, like a lot of women, I love my chocolate, but I'm a bit of a chocolate snob.
Brilliant.
So again, it's, go for quality every time. So you won't see me with a Galaxy bar. Can't stand Galaxy. Sorry if I'm not supposed to say names here, but I remember again going back to when I was doing the food, when the guy who started up Hotel Chocolat, Angus, he actually set up, first of all, he was a real he really knows his chocolate, and I remember he set up like this chocolate club, and you could subscribe and get certain chocolates sent to you each month, and that's how he started actually. And then he sort of launched this Hotel Chocolat.
Oh,
and
wow.
if I have, I mean, I must say I'm pretty disciplined.
Yeah.
If I have good chocolate, and you see that drawer behind me, that's got my my chocolate little stash in it, but I'll only have one a day.
And bonbons, handmade, what are they?
Right now, which I could show you. My husband walked in yesterday and he said, I know you won't want me to buy you an Easter egg,
but
because he knows all about the value, and I think Easter eggs are actually really poor value. It's all the packaging. Brilliant marketing is all about the packaging, isn't it? So he brought me a little box of chocolate truffles.
Oh, delicious.
So I've got those individually wrapped, so I will have one of those probably this afternoon.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Well, we love it.
Yes, we do. We do love chocolate. The funny thing is, though, this is a bit of a thing that people might be a bit offended by, but actually, I don't like Swiss chocolate. I don't think the Swiss are great at making chocolate. I don't know why. Whenever I've had Swiss chocolate, I'm not that keen. I don't like Lindt. I know. Ooh.
You can say the BBC.
No,
say what you like.
But that's just my opinion. I mean, yeah.
You don't like
I do like Lindt. I must admit, I do like Lindt.
Actually, saying that, I do like the 70 and 80% cocoa that they do.
Well, we bake with it. So we make the brownies and things like that.
Oh, right. Yes. What brownies? Go on, tell me about the brownies.
Brownies, well, because I'm a bit of a food snob when it comes to good cuisine, and I obviously started my career in a Michelin star restaurant as a teen. So you can't put bad cake in front of me or bad things, even if you say it's healthy. Like, if it's healthy, or it says, you know, fat free or low fat or any of those things, I'll be like, assume it tastes really bad. So I'm a bit more like you. I'd rather have something small and perfect and beautiful than have a large quantity of garbage. I'm just not going to have it because it says it's good, or because it says it's good for you. Have that instead.
Yeah,
I was a bit wary about it, and that was the start of our kind of journey into Zukr, because I actually had a foot operation and ended up incapacitated with my foot up, with nearly losing my foot, and eating a lot of cake. Good cake though, but it was too much of it.
still cake.
Yeah, and so the cake didn't love me back, because I have an autoimmune condition as well. So the cake took its revenge. I was barely able to walk. I was in a terrible state, and I put on weight. So I knew what I needed to do. I'm a healthcare professional, so I was like, I need to cut out all the garbage, starting with the amount of cake I'm eating and the sugar. And so I went through a period of sugar-free, and then I missed cake and brownies, which are my favorite and the most delectable brownies we make. And then I realized that I was missing my cake, so I was looking for a sugar replacement alternative, and that's where I discovered Zukr, discovered the ingredient in Zukr, and was able to start baking, and it be basically just as delicious as the, you know, Michelin star brownies, if you like, but sugar free. So our brownies are well, they are fully loaded with chocolate fudge sauce and all of the things you might want on the side, and soft and gooey. We make the Jamie Oliver recipe, and they are to die for. Amazing. They're so good, in fact, that one time I made brownies. I was working I was taking care of an elderly lady, and I made these brownies for her. They're so delicious that I put them in the freezer to keep them away from myself, but they even tasted good frozen. So I ate a whole tray of frozen brownies. So yeah,
Oh.
unfortunately, I have low control when it comes to good cake. So I'm not sure, but I can see the chocolate. No, I think the chocolate drawer will be gone.
Well, it's good discipline to have one a day.
One a day, I don't think I could do
I
that.
do try to keep one a day. If I know I'm having more, then it's I'm like, I'm not having a good day today.
They're gone, and then they're not in the house anymore. That's the problem. You see, there's the binge eating. That's not good. That's not good. So those are our brownies. So we'll have to send you some. I'll have to send you some for you to try.
Oh yes, please.
And have you ever tried sort of reducing sugar or anything like that in your diet? Are you were a bit like verse like I was to going no sweetener and that kind of thing?
I think looking back, we've never been a family with a lot of sweet things in the house anyway, and I'll explain why. So my kids never had fizzy drinks, and that was because we were abroad a lot of their childhood anyway, so we weren't surrounded by all the sweets that you get, you know, now. We didn't have big supermarkets to go into. And then my son had a tooth problem, and I was taking him to the orthodontics the whole time. And it turned out that he had, you know, the natural cement that holds your tooth down. In some of his teeth, it was missing. So a lot of his teeth were. So it was like, right, you know, do not give your child fizzy drinks and all this. So not that we did anyway. So we never had Coke and lemonade and stuff in the house anyway. We never really had biscuits. And so I think that was probably in a way a good foundation anyway. My mum used to bake a lot.
Yes.
I didn't. I really enjoy cooking, but I'd rather do a 3-course meal than bake a cake, to be honest. I'm just not a baker. So I think it was just those things really. Not having to cut down.
Not having to cut down because you don't have the.
Not really. That's not to say I'm averse. I love cake, like it, you know, like most people do. And and you saying brownies, I met a friend for a coffee last week, and she ordered the hot chocolate fully loaded, and I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Sounds like
Honestly, we were laughing and laughing. I mean, the hot chocolate was like that, and then it came that high because the rest of it was cream, Smarties, sprinkles, chocolate. But I couldn't scoff because I had the peanut butter chocolate brownie.
That's another one. Yeah, we and the chocolate. That God,
Oh,
was it good to die for?
I ordered it when it came. I ordered it and I said to her, "Well, I won't eat it all. So I'll probably take half of it home." And of course, when it came and it
Yeah.
was so gooey, I thought, I can't carry that.
Go home, no regret.
So it got eaten. But those are fairly rare treats. But yeah, I like cake. I like cake as much as anybody.
I think I can resonate as a parent with your way of managing what's in the house. I think for us, and for me with I've got grown-up daughter, and then I've got my little one who's 9. But with the 3 kids, I've always, whatever's in the house is stuff that can be kind of consumed, and if we're going to have the treats, they're normally outside, or mummy will bake a treat, which is not going to be every day, it's occasionally. So we just never had the fizzy drinks in the house. We just didn't buy them, so it would be something that would be, or we didn't really buy sweets either. We've got the sweets might be when we were outside. So overall, I think that's an easier way to manage things than to have it in the house and then deprive yourself and say you can't have it. Psychologically, I don't like that idea even.
Yeah, yeah.
The other thing that you made, Nabila, was some what we call fat bombs. And now, when you talk about something like a fat bomb, you think, oh, that's really unhealthy. But actually, you made it from peanut butter, some cocoa powder, and some Zukr, and they were like these beautiful bonbons. And but it was
a little bit of coconut oil
and a wee bit of coconut oil. And as a fat bomb, it was amazing because you'd eat.
A bad name from the
It is a bad. It's not a good marketing name, is it?
You're not in the marketing
No,
department.
right.
No, we don't call it.
Fat bomb does sound pretty awful.
When you describe the ingredients, you think, wow, it's a bonbon with peanut butter.
And I called it a bomb. And you were like, I didn't like that name. Anyway, we don't call it that one. Peanut butter, cocoa, and just all a little tiny bonbon like this rolled in the dark cocoa as well.
Yeah.
Just unsweetened.
I think they sound more like magical bonbons, don't you?
Magical bonbons.
Magical
marketing.
Marketing right, thank you.
There we go.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, are there any tips or any last words that you wanted to say to anybody that's thinking of coming into the space, and if they've got a business idea that they want to sort of bring into the world? What would you say to them as their sort of starting point?
Okay, thrown that one at me. So what I would say is find out what makes you different and magnify it.
Oh yeah.
I love that. That's profound.
Because, and a lot of people, their first reaction would be oh, I'm not sure what makes me different. There'll be something. And for a lot of people, we say people buy from people. So they may be selling their business, or they may be selling them, if you see what I mean. So if it's that you, like if you're a coach, if you're a therapist, if you're someone in that sort of space, so you're not selling the thing, but you're very much selling what you provide. So it's your personal brand. Just find something about you that you can amplify. It might be like, Nabila, your earrings, are great today. It might be that you're the woman who always wears the big dangly flashy earrings. So make a point of always wearing the big flashy dangly earrings, So, but yeah, make them bigger and sparklier and
It's really good. Tune in for tomorrow for the next set of earrings. And I just wondered as well that we talked briefly about the NLP side. This is is it chicken and egg? Do you start with marketing or on yourself, or do you start with the NLP? Do you NLP yourself and then market, or do you do it all at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, mindset is so much a big part of business, isn't it? And you have to have that confidence. But I'll tell you what my other little mantra is, my little tip. People say I'm not very confident. And I think clarity plus certainty equals confident.
Yes.
So if you're really clear on what you've got to offer and who you are and what you're going to do for people and all that, if you've got that clarity, and then you've got the certainty on what you're going to do, how you're going to get it out there, what you're going to be saying to people, that you've got the confidence.
Yes.
If you've got those two things, you naturally have the confidence. So I guess that's where you start, really, is getting that clarity and that certainty first.
It's the
Yes,
perfect
that's
recipe
it.
for the confidence cake.
That's a perfect recipe. I'm going to add a cherry on the top. May I?
Yeah. Yeah,
My
wow.
cherry always has to be cake references with
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Sorry about that. My cherry on the top would be find out what you really love and magnify that as well. Because I think people, when they are literally lean into what they love, and you can love so many different things, which one of those can I lean into the most? It becomes really easy when you're doing what you love. It becomes really easy to serve people, don't you think?
Yeah, and I think serving, the point about that is serving, you know, when you've identified who your ideal customer is,
Yes.
and then serving them, you know, almost unconditionally is something I think is quite magical.
Yeah, always, always.
Wonderful. Well, it's been so lovely having you today. Can you tell us a little bit about where we can find out a bit more about what you do, and then how people can connect with you?
Well, I'm on Facebook, I guess, is my main home. It should be LinkedIn, but it's always Facebook. So yes, I'm just Karen Burge, KarenBurge on Facebook. If anyone is really interested in this whole elevating their brand and going for the high net worth, and I do have a Facebook group, and it's called simply Working with the Wealthy.
Wonderful. Wow. Wow. That sounds fantastic. Well, I think we will be definitely touching base with you again, because it's been a wonderful conversation today. And a girl after my own heart with a chocolate. I will have talked about brownies. I will have to make you some brownies. And as we have both established a refined palate, I think that will be a wonderful union. So
It sounds good. It sounds good, doesn't it?
Wonderful having you on Sweet Liberation, and we really look forward to having you back at some point soon to tell us all of your new adventures in business. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Karen Burge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.